Hi everyone, today we're going to learn the intro to Sweet Child of Mine by Guns N' Roses, and it sounds like this. Cool. So in this Sweet Child of Mine guitar lesson, we're going to look at all the techniques and the shapes that you're going to need to be able to play this intro. Before we get started, just remember to check out the description below, and in there will be a link to our website where you can click through to a write-up of this lesson and loads of other stuff as well. First thing about this, it's a tricky one. There's quite a lot of right hand jumping across strings, that sort of thing. Slash actually wrote this as an exercise to play. I don't think he was necessarily thinking about making the song straight away. He just wrote it as something that's difficult. But with the cool thing about it is there's lots of repetition in it, so you can loop it and practice it loads until you get it up to speed. So first of all, let's just look at the chords. So the chords underneath are D, and then it's a C, and then it's a G, and then it goes back to D. So we've got three different things that we have to learn. So I'll take you through the D part first, and there's only one note that you change to go through the other one. So once you've done the first one, that's most of the work done. Okay, so that's what we're going to do for this first bit. This is all in D major, shape 3. Okay, if you're not sure of that, remember check out that link below. There'll be a link to our site there with full explanation of what I'm talking about when I'm saying like shape 1, 2, 3, and there'll be the scale diagrams on there for you as well. So what we'll do now, I'll just go through the frets that you want. Then I'll at the same time we'll talk about which fingers you're going to be using. Then we'll talk about the picking after that, because I think that's quite important, just in terms of getting it up to speed and getting it flowing comfortably. So let's start off with the frets. So index finger, 12th fret on the D string. Next note is the 15th fret with your little finger on the B string. After that, to the G string, 14th fret with your 3rd finger, and then 12th fret on the G string. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So we'll get those 4 notes first. So it's 12 on the D, 15 on the B, 14 on the G, 12 on the G. All right? And with this, you've got 1 finger per fret. So that's quite comfortable. If you keep your thumb behind, or rather than trying to keep your thumb around, it allows you to stretch out a bit more if you keep your thumb behind the neck and have 1 finger per fret. Okay, for that bit. So get that comfortable first. Thinking about the picking there, just do alternate picking. So down, up, down, up. What you'll find is that as it's changing strings so often, you might find that you're actually hitting the wrong strings. Or you're sort of going through the strings to get to the other one. The trick here is you're going to have to lift the pick away from the strings a bit, as you're going to have to sort of hop over them. But you don't want to do that low, so you don't want to be that sort of thing, because that's just you're never going to be able to speed that up. So first of all, take it really slow. But when you are taking it slow, still try and do the most efficient movement you can. So shortest distances you can possibly do, just enough really to get the pick there and clearing the other string. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then the next bit is, okay, the next 4 notes. So here, we're on the E string, 15th fret, then to the G string, 14th fret, and then this is where our little finger is going to come back down onto the 14th fret of the E string. So it's not 1 finger per fret here. The little finger is actually covering 2 frets. And then 14, and 14 again on the G string. So 15 on the E, 14 on the G, 14 on the E, 14 on the G. Okay, so I'll get close here, you can see that. Okay, so if we put both parts together, we end up with and it's still alternate picking on those next 4 notes as well. So it's down, up, down, up. So that is very tricky because there's a lot of hopping around going on. But yeah, same thing applies. Just take it slowly at first. Make sure you are doing the motions exactly as you want. So don't be afraid to look at your right hand as well as your left hand when you're playing it. Because you want to be quite strict with the amount of movement you're doing. Really, really minimize it as much as you possibly can. Alright, so if I come up close again, I'll just play that all the way through. And it does it again. Okay, what I would suggest with it is once you've got that lick, or that sort of section that's over the D chord, just practice that. Just do that loop round and round and round, because there's only a few minor things that you need to think about to be able to throw in the other 2 parts as well. But you really want to be really comfortable with that part before you start trying to add in more bits. So take it really slow, practice with a metronome. Really think about making the movements as small as you can. And stick with that alternate picking for this. If you can get comfortable with this for alternate picking, that's going to set you up for a lot of other stuff as well, because this is a hard one for alternate picking. Okay, so once we've done that one, that's the sort of the one over the D chord. The next one is over the C or C add 9 chord. It's almost exactly the same. It's just the first note changes. So instead of being 12, it's 14 as the first note on the D string. All the other notes are the same. So the same thing would apply here. Practice that one on its own. Don't try and change between them until you've got this one down as well. The thing that you have to think about with this is the last note of it is the 14th fret on the G string. The first note of it is the 14th fret on the D string. Okay, so when you loop it, you're actually going to be playing 14th fret on the G followed by 14th fret on the D, which means you're going to have to do this little roll thing here where you, instead of playing it with the tip of your finger like that and then quickly coming off and onto the next string, that takes too long and it introduces string noise. What you can do is play the 14 on the G string with sort of the flat, the fingerprint part of your finger, okay? And then when you're coming onto the D string, you roll. So you're playing more with the tip of your finger here. So can you, I think you should be able to see that if I come up close like that. Okay, so I'm not using the same part of my finger to play the different strings. Normally I do try to do that, but when it's the same fret across 2 strings on adjacent notes, like this is, just to minimise movement and string noise, I'm going to do this roll thing. So we get, okay, and then after that, do that roll there. Alright, that's a tricky part of this. I think just looping that second one on its own, focusing on that, you'll get used to it. Okay, and the last one. Is very similar to the first one, except now we're starting on the 12th fret of the G string. And all the rest is the same. So it's 12th fret on the G string, and then you're up to the 15th fret on the B. Okay, and that one is a different finger each time, so that's okay. You don't have to worry about rolling for that one. So hopefully with that you'll see what I mean about getting that D-shaped one down first. Or sorry, the one that plays over the D chord. Once your hand's used to this, once you've got this under your fingers, the only thing that's likely to trip you up is this rolling thing, which you might have to practice separately, really focus on that. But then the last one should feel pretty comfortable, because by then you've practiced the other two and your fingers will be used to it. It'll be getting into your muscle memory. That's really what you want with this. Okay? Now, all the time I'm doing down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. So with your alternate picking, try to keep your hand as relaxed as you possibly can. You don't want to be doing it from your elbow, this sort of, you really lose the control there. You can hear I'm hitting the other strings. We don't want that. Do it from a rotation of your wrist like this. This means your pick is going to move in an arc. Can you see that? Rather than straight up and down like that, it's moving in an arc, which means it's much easier to make sure you only hit one string at a time. If I'm moving straight up and down like that, I really have a very small amount that I can move, maybe a centimetre or so, before I come in contact with another string that I don't want. If I'm moving in an arc, I can continue that whole arc comfortably. I don't have to sort of be tensing up or anything, and I still know I'm only going to hit that one string. And then once you're comfortable with that, still trying to minimise the motion as much as you can, but not by tensing up. You're doing it by playing very softly. Let the amp do the work for this. So I've got quite a high gain sound here. So I don't have to touch the strings very hard and the note comes out. If you find that you're picking really hard with it, that's going to start to introduce tension. It's going to make it really hard to get this up to speed. So just keep relaxed with it, slow at first, and then gradually speed it up. The last little bit, so the first time around it does 2 on each. Okay, and then the G one, and then back to the first one. And that's your sequence of 4 chords. So it's the D one, and then the C one, and then the G one, and back to the D one. Okay, the second time round, we've got this. It just rounds it off and gets you into the verse part. So what we're doing here, we're coming from the third one, so the G, and then instead of going back to the D, we're doing this. And so we'll go through the frets of that. It's first fret on the E string, sorry, first fret, 12th fret on the E string, and then it's 14th fret on the G, and then it's 15th fret on the B, and then back to 14th on the G, so, and then back up to the 12th fret on the E, then 14th again on the G, and then 14th on the E, 14th on the G, 15th on the E, and then back down, 14th on the E, 12th on the E, 15th on the B, or you can end that with a chord there where you're playing 12 on the D, 14 on the G, 15 on the B, which is basically a D power chord, but just higher up. Okay, so I'll go through that a bit more slowly. Just remember, it's always kind of coming, this 14th fret on the G string is between all the notes, so it's every other note. Okay, and then we end it with that chord there. So we go through it slowly. I won't say the 14th on the G, just remember that's between them all. So 12 on the E, 15 on the B, 12 on the E, 14 on the E, 15 on the E, 14 on the E, 12 on the E, 15 on the B, and then that chord, which again is 12 on the D, 14 on the G, 15 on the B. Okay, so that's it. We've covered the whole lot. So I'll play it through normal speed, and then I'll play it through slowly. I'll do it just once round without ending each time, so you've got it there, and then we'll be done. So this is normal speed. And then slowed down. I'll try and get a bit closer for this. Roll. And the ending. And that last bit is still alternate picked. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed that lesson. Just go away, practice that, take it slow to begin with, and then gradually up the speed. If you have enjoyed it, remember to subscribe to our channel for loads of other videos like this, and check out the link below for the link to our site with the full write-up and all the scale diagrams and everything you're going to need. Okay, thanks, and I'll see you next time.